Hi friends, Kerrie from Konversations at Kerrie's Korner. I hope this Thursday finds you doing fantastically well in whatever areas of life that you are in. It is a glorious, glorious sunny day, cool day down here near the Houston area, and I wanted to jump in this afternoon and get my second podcast of the week done. Konversations at Kerrie's Korner. This is where we start some conversations and hope to get people back towards the middle where we can talk to each other about anything and do that in a fashion that's respectful, encouraging, intelligent, factual, and just bring us back to the point where we can talk about things. Respect me, I respect you. You know that old adage, as long as you respect each other, you can talk about just about anything. That's where we are, people. We've lost that in this country. And it's really too bad because that's where change starts. True change starts when you learn to communicate with each other and you respect somebody else's ideas and positions, and they respect you. That's why I started this podcast, in hopes that it encourages others to do the same thing, to talk about issues. One of the subjects that's important to me is our safety. I am someone that came to this country 55 years ago with my family. We were here a long time. Naturalized, U.S. citizenship now, and it upsets me that so many are circumventing it, and it's allowed, and it's encouraged by our lawmakers, which is extremely disappointing. They're failing, all of us. They have failed families with murdered children, women raped, businesses destroyed, families moving out of homes that they love, because it's all from illegals. And the illegals are taking away a sense of security for a lot of people. And that's not okay. Life is challenging at best. When everything goes great, there's always still challenges in your life. You still have worries and concerns. There is really no utopia on earth. There's paradise in heaven. But even in paradise on earth, if you can find that, there's always going to be challenges. So safety is a really, really important issue. As somebody who has experienced a situation in her life of violence from somebody unknown, I speak firsthand to the time it takes to recover from that. And unfortunately, I'm here to tell you, you never completely do. Because you look at things differently from that moment forward. And you can't go back and fix it. It's just impossible. It changes everything in a split second. That's why when families are faced with tragic, horrific, violent deaths of those that they love, they'll never get over it. They'll learn to adjust to live with it, but they will never get over it. How could you? It's impossible. Closure is a cliche. You're never going to be able to close the chapter because the chapter's been ripped out of the book. You have to learn to work through the book of life, without the chapter. And without the chapter, the life in the book is not complete. So there is no closure. There is no closure when violence invades your life or a loved one's life. It's just not going to happen. You learn to cope, but you never get over it. You never forget. If you're lucky enough, you can forgive, And that's a big, tall order in and of itself. As Christians, we're taught to forgive. But in these circumstances, it astounds me when I hear people say they have forgiven a murderer for the loss of a child or a loved one, family, wife, whatever the circumstance is. That's truly inspiring. When somebody can forgive violently ripping somebody out of your life. It's just astounding. So has security changed? There's a lot of people that say, oh, security really hasn't changed. It really hasn't affected you. You haven't been accosted or attacked. And they think that that's all that changes with opening our borders and allowing these people in. I recently took a trip overseas, and I was worried. I was worried getting on an airplane, leaving and coming back, traveling domestically and then internationally, both ways. I was worried, looking around, trying to identify things that looked out of place, that shouldn't be there. And that's not okay. And the reason for that is the fear that we have people in this country that are here to do us harm. We are all smart enough to understand that there's a lot of evil in the world, and there's a lot of evil in the world that hates this country and hates every single thing about us and our lifestyle. You just know that. So when you get on an airplane, because of the history in our country, it's human to have that thought, am I going to crash? Am I going to get blown up? It's just natural. How could you not think that? I don't know anybody that doesn't think that when they get on a plane. If they do, congratulations to them, but I'd have to guess a good 90% of the people that fly think about that when they go to get on that plane. So flying is inevitably changed. I never drive out of my driveway without my best friend, who is either in my purse or in my console, and she is a 9mm and she is loaded and ready to go. People say, well, why do you do that? It can be used on you. Oh, no, ma'am, not if you know what you're doing with it. Not if you're trained, not if you feel comfortable with it, and not if you know how to use it and respect it, which I do. But I never go anywhere. I never leave my driveway unless I have it. Not because I'm fearful that every single day I drive out my driveway, something is going to happen, but it is the unknown, uncontrollable tangent that makes me be cautious. And that's responsible. I'm married. I have a wonderful husband, a wonderful family, extended family, and it's my responsibility to make sure that I can protect myself at all times. That's just being responsible. And we are in a heightened state of, it's not fear, we are in a heightened state of attention that there are a lot of evil people that have been let in here that are saturating our communities, and we have to be prepared, we have to be informed, and we have to take the necessary steps to protect ourselves. Every time I go out of my driveway, I let my husband know when I arrive and when I'm on my way home. Just for a sense that he knows he does the same for me. When he goes somewhere, he does the same for me. Because you just cannot take anything for granted anymore. And that's really sad that we are in that state. But my mom had this great saying, and she would say it so frequently, and she would say, you know what? If you stick your head in the sand long enough, sooner or later, somebody is going to come along and they're going to blow your ass off. If you don't pay attention, if you stick your head in the ground and you don't pay attention to what's coming or what is in our society and the threats that are in our society, one of those threats is going to come along and it's going to blow your ass off. I want to be prepared at all times. And I do not want my loved ones to worry when I am not home. One of the best things about cell phones, as we've seen in the Lincoln Riley trial recently, her roommates knew exactly where her phone was, which led them to where, unfortunately, she was found. They don't stop you from getting hurt, but they do give our family and our loved ones a better opportunity to know where we are and potentially help us and find us, and that's cell phones. So, what do? We've destroyed the relationship between the public and the police, the law enforcement officials, the border officials. I have children that are in public service. I have a paramedic and I have a probation officer, and they see a significant shift. And that's not okay because they're putting their lives on the line every single day for the public. And it's not okay. It's just not okay. It's not okay to say we don't support our law enforcement. Their job is to protect us all. And there's good and bad in everything. You're never going to that's never going to go away. Evil is evil. There's been no solution to the removal of evil. You just have to believe in what is right and wrong, believe and have faith that we as humans can figure out what's right and what's wrong, what's good and what's bad, or what is evil. And there's a lot of evil that we have to be aware of. I tell my friends all the time, I'm like, where are you going? Okay, we're going to go here. Check your surroundings. When you get there, check your surroundings. Take a second, step out of your car and check your surroundings. Look all in every direction, all around you. Look for vehicles that are next to you. Look for people that are walking towards you. And take that 5 seconds to just look around. And then when you get back from whatever you're doing, do the same thing on your way to your car. Look around. Make sure there's nobody lurking near your car. Make sure nobody's lurking near your personal space. And always be on your guard. That's just being responsible and smart. Evil is going to be in places where you would never expect it to be. So you always have to be on guard, paying attention, and be prepared. I'm going to be prepared every time I leave my driveway, because I do not want to be unprepared when and if it ever shows up at my door again. I pray that never happens. But we don't live in paradise, so there is evil, and it is everywhere. And we have to teach our children how to protect themselves too, what to look for, how to be prepared. If somebody comes up to you and says, all these things that they say to lure children into situations, it's our responsibility as parents, grandparents, and family members to teach our children how to be prepared and protect themselves. The solution is not to defund those that protect us. The solution is to encourage and support and build those agencies to protect us, just like our military. We got to have a military. We've got to have a mighty strong military. one that we know that we can depend on. So if we are ever attacked again, we will be prepared, and hopefully we are prepared enough and big enough that that it will stop somebody from doing that. That is ultimately the goal, by reinforcing and rebuilding all of these agencies, that it gives that evil, that person, a moment to think, oh, maybe this isn't a good idea. So we've got to reinforce and rebuild our defense systems, our police, our law enforcement. And we have to show them that we respect them and support them. And yes, there's going to be evil there too. You can't control every situation where there's evil. It's how you respond when evil shows up. That's the question. That's the important thing. And, you know, the one way that we're going to continue to be a safer community is to have our borders closed. Have people here that we know who they are, that they've been vetted, and that we as citizens are willing to stand up and say, this person did this or that person did this, or if there's a situation where somebody needs help, that you step in. Obviously, you know, that has to be gauged. You either step in or you call the authorities, is what you do, so you don't put yourself at risk as well. It's a sad commentary of what has happened in our society, and it's drastically changed in 4 years. Communities are completely different. The feeling of safety is completely different. And it can come from other places too. You know, children. I heard a terrible story today about a young 12-year-old girl in Australia, where I am from, and she took her life because she's been bullied so bad. She's only 12 years old, was only 12 years old. And the bullying was so bad that she took her own life. I just don't know how our societies are allowing this to happen. We have to do a better job of insulating and protecting our younger generations from the evil that surrounds them everywhere. It's our job. It's our responsibility to protect our youth. And we're not doing a very good job of it. It's just not in the United States, it's everywhere. And our cell phones are one of the biggest problems, because we have no regulation. So how do we fix it? Well, like I said, we strengthen our borders, we strengthen our law enforcement, we encourage them and support them and give them the tools that they need, and enough of them that it is not a weakness by having too little, because that only benefits the evil and the crime. And we support and encourage each other to pay attention where we go, who's around us, what the facility is. You know, it's a sad commentary in 2024 where at this stage, until we get our borders under much better control, I would never go to a place like a stadium for fear something will happen, because our borders have been left so unguarded. We don't know who's here. And I do support deportation, the criminal element, with no mercy. If you're here legally, illegally, and you are a criminal, I'm sorry, you gotta go. If you're here illegally and you're a family, I have no doubt that our new administration will take whatever steps are necessary to keep a family together at all costs. But sometimes it's just not possible. Sometimes circumstances dictate what has to be done. And we as a country have got to support all of our law enforcement, all of our government, and all of those in positions to make those kinds of decisions. After all, they're elected officials. We are not.
They did not bring charges because they did not find these witnesses credible.
So,
in any event.
security is an issue. Feeling safe is an issue. We all need to be prepared. We all need to have a game plan. We all need to know how we're going to defend ourselves. And we just need to be paying attention. That is such a huge thing, and it doesn't cost anything. It is just a mindset to, when you get to where you're going, take the minutes to look around, know that nobody's close to invading your space, that you don't see anything that is off. If you get that feeling it's off, don't get out of your car. Go move somewhere else, or don't go. Because there's nothing worth risking your safety. Nothing. And if you get that feeling like something is wrong, abort, leave, go home, go find a better place, because it's just not worth it. Because it's not in our control, unfortunately. I pray that we as a country can get our feeling of safety back. It's important. I would love to be able to go to a football game or a baseball game or a concert, but there's no way I would do it at this moment. Not until I know our borders are secure and we have done everything as a country to try to eliminate those people that are here that are intent on hurting us and hurting our way of life. That's the real world. That's where we are, and we have to face that. If we don't, we're asking for personal problems. Be prepared. Have a game plan. Have an emergency plan within your own family. That's another huge thing. Our family has an emergency plan. If we have a national emergency, what's the plan? Where are we going to meet? How are we going to get there? Do we have food to help sustain us in the event of a major catastrophe? All of these things are things that we should all be thinking about and preparing for. It's not being, overly emotional. No, it's not an overreaction. It is a logical, thoughtful process of being prepared. Because you just never know. We've already been through one major world crisis. Think back to those days where we had to watch every single thing we ate because we couldn't get what we needed at the grocery store. It's happened. Let's pray it doesn't happen again, but is the reality that it might? Yeah. So let's be prepared. Be prepared is always better than to not be prepared when something comes along that you have not planned for. I certainly pray that no more American families suffer at the hands of these terrible criminals, that we can round them up and send them home. But unfortunately, there's always going to be evil, and it's something that we as humans have to be cognitive of, and don't take anything or anyone for granted. If you get that feeling, listen to what your body is telling you, because 9 times out of 10, it's going to be right. Get that premonition, that feeling something is off, pay attention to it, and change whatever you're doing. More than likely, it's for a reason, and you just don't want to ignore it. Humans are very, very intuitive, some more than others. Some are amazing. But we all have the ability to know. When you just get that feeling and you meet somebody and you're like, ooh, what is that? I'm not sure, I feel real comfortable. Listen to what your intuition is telling you, because it's 9 times out of 10 going to be right. Don't ignore it. It could be a really bad decision to ignore it. And stay safe. Communicate with your family members. Let them know when you get there. Let them know when you're on your way home. And just don't take anything for granted. If you're going to take and have protection with you, make sure you know how to use it. Don't let it be used on you. Never hesitate. Make sure you're trained. Make sure you can do it under pressure, because the last thing you want to do is for you to have something with you to protect yourself and then it's used on you. So if you're not 100% comfortable, please do not depend on it, because that could end up being catastrophic for you. Took me a long time to even feel comfortable picking up a gun, let alone shooting a gun, let alone shooting under pressure. It is something that you have to learn to do. I encourage you to do that. Just don't pick up a gun, because that's not the right way. You're not respecting the gun and the process. Learn how to use it, feel comfortable, and then go and practice. Like anything, practice makes perfect. And I pray that we all have a safe, joyous holiday season as we are about to enter into it on Monday. Next week is Thanksgiving. The official holiday season starts, and I pray that it is a safe one for everyone, and that we can, as a country, have a peaceful and joyous holiday season for everyone. Whatever your religion and faith is, I hope it is truly a spectacular year. We all need it. It has been a rough couple of years. God bless you. Thank you for watching my podcast. This is Kerrie at Conversations at Kerrie's Korner. Let me hear from you. What would you like to talk about? Anything is on the table, as long as we do it with respect and dignity and we respect each other's positions. That is crucial. And I want to just leave you with a thought. What gave me the inspiration for Conversations at Kerrie's Korner? Have you ever been traveling and decided, oh, you know that I've got to run in, I got to get gas, I need to use the restroom, and you would run across these beautiful diners that were littered all over the American countryside. And you'd be able to go in and sit down and have a coffee and a coffee and a slice of pie, and end up sitting with somebody that you don't even know. But you walked out of there at the end with a new friend or a new acquaintance or a new position on something because you had a conversation. We've got to do more of that as a society. We've got to get back to face-to-face conversations and do it in a way that's respectful of the other person. You respect my position, I'm going to respect your position. I'm going to listen to what you have to say. Now you listen to what I have to say. It's amazing how easy it is. We just got to get back to the middle. We got to get back to a place where we can all talk to each other. Talk about our differences respectfully, calmly, intellectually, and respect each other at all times. And we will turn this country around. We will be able to be a country united and not divided, because when divided can't stand. History has proved that. So let's find a place to meet in the middle and have a conversation. And soon here at Conversations at Kerrie's Korner, we're going to be interactive, and I'm very, very excited about that. You'll be able to call in and have conversations with us, and hopefully we'll have guests that will be here to talk about each specific topic that we're talking about. But most importantly, we got to start talking to each other again, irregardless of whether we agree. And we've got to agree to be respectful of each other and listen, because that's where we can really change and fix this great divide in our America. God bless you wherever you are. Remember, we do 2 podcasts a week. This is the second one for the week, and I hope you enjoy it. And I do want feedback. Please give me some feedback in the comments after you've had an opportunity to view this. And I thank you so very much for joining me today. You guys are amazing, and I look forward to hearing from all of you when you have time. Life is busy, and I know that. So God bless, stay safe, And we will see you in the next podcast. Have a great day, everyone. God bless. Happy fall.